you ready to do this?
Every former athlete wishes they could go back.
Love the game. It gave me so much. You have a small window of this thing. Enjoy it.
This is a New Path, a sports podcast, hosted by Peyton Schmitz.
What's going on, and welcome back to the New Path, a sports podcast. This podcast, we talk to a bunch of former athletes, regardless of their journey, elementary, middle school, high school, it doesn't matter. We talk about all of it. I'm Peyton Schmitz. I'm the host of the show. In case you're joining us for the first time, we're on episode 11, believe it or not. And today, we've got a former collegiate softball player, Sonya Terleckyji.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, you
Let's
did.
go. I got
it.
First try. So, Sonya, how did you first get involved in athletics?
Yeah, so I have been involved from a very early age. I started playing t-ball when I was like 4, and a lot of times I played in dirt in the outfield. It was like rallying a bunch of toddlers, so it didn't go great. I did not like t-ball at all, actually. And then as I started elementary school, my school had reached out and was offering bowling programs and karate lessons, and I somehow got thrown into karate. So I did karate for actually a while. I was like one test away from like a black belt, although it was not, I didn't like it that much. So I started playing softball when I was 8 years old. Played for a couple of rec teams around me in the local area, and then when I was 12, I started playing a more competitive league in travel, and then I was in travel, and then played high school and on to college.
So not just a softball player here.
Not just softball
actually
player.
Karate.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that experience like?
So I think I was forced into it by my dad. He wanted me to be able to defend myself. So I did karate, not something I like to openly talk about because it was kind of embarrassing a little bit, but it was really interesting. It was a lot of individual competitions. So there were some individual competitions, which was my favorite part of all of this. But a lot of it was form-based, so doing your form. There were even some weapons involved, like a bow staff, nunchucks, crazy things like that. But yeah, I mostly just enjoyed the competition side of things. And yeah, that was about karate.
Karate, that's exciting. I don't think we've ever had anybody. We've had football, cross country runners, we've had everything in between, but karate, that's a new one. We're gonna have to add that to the list here. But primary sport was softball.
Yes. Yeah.
So, getting started early on, you mentioned you played in some rec leagues there. Was that an inspiration from someone in your family, or was that just purely you saw softball on one day and was like, I want to play?
Yeah, so actually a lot of my friends and my classmates were playing recreational, so it was just kind of a fun thing to do. I always enjoyed sports, or at least on the competitive side of things. So I was like, yeah, why not give it a try? T-ball didn't work, but maybe softball will stick, and it really did. I started as a third baseman because I had a strong arm, but that was about all I could do. And then I must have been fed up with the kind of errors going on in the field because I told my mom that I wanted to be a pitcher because if no one else could get an out, then I wanted to be the person who got the out. So that's kind of how that journey transpired. Really stuck with that for a couple years. And then, I don't know, someone must have thought I was too good for rec. So then I tried out for some travel organizations. And actually my first travel team, I think we won 3 games our entire season. It was a learning curve for sure.
Always is.
But then just kind of progressed from there and played a little bit more competitive as I got older.
Yeah. Thoughts on overall, without getting too specific, obviously, but like travel ball, the experience, did you like it? Did you hate it? And what do you think?
Yeah, so as a coach now, I have a bit of a different understanding of travel ball than I did as a player. But as a player, I loved it. You were really able to get really close with your teammates and build those lifelong friendships that they always talk about. You'd have overnight tournaments in Columbus, and that's where you're making all your memories in hotel rooms and kind of going on from there. You also really got to experience a different talent level that you never played with before. So it was so fun learning, different people and other positions and really honing in on your craft at your specific position.
Now, what position did you play in softball?
Yeah, so I mostly played third base growing up, and then eventually when I was about, I would say 14, 15, I really kind of started to grow pitching, and then kind of finished out stronger as a pitcher after that.
Now, softball is different than baseball when it comes to pitching. I mean, there's not, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not nearly as many pitchers on the team, right?
Correct, yeah. So that's always team dependent. I will say I was fortunate with a lot of my travel teams to there would be like 3 or 4 girls on a team, which is a healthy number. It doesn't seem like it, but you could go from pitching a complete game at 9 a.m. and then you're back at it for game 2 at 11:30. So yeah,
wow.
It's a lot. Sometimes you kind of draw the short stick and you're the only pitcher on the team. So kind of depends on the team. But yes, that's correct. Generally, there are a lot less pitchers.
Yeah, so I can imagine, like you kind of alluded to it there, the travel ball, tournament process. 9 a.m. complete game and turnaround. I mean, are complete games as common? I imagine it is more common in softball.
Yes, a lot more common in softball. It depends on the age too. Your younger girls who are 10, 12 are not going to be able to go complete games.
Right.
But yes, as you get older, it's kind of the expectation that you can throw a complete game. So yeah, it depends.
Yeah, so travel ball a little bit. You started that early on, kind of quickly. And then high school, you played in high school, right?
I did, yes.
And where exactly, if you want to, you don't have to, but where'd you go to school?
So I went to high school in Gibraltar, Michigan, called Carlson High School, where we were fortunate enough to win our district for the first time in school history. That was in 2019, and then my senior year, our COVID year, we unfortunately didn't get to play and have our run post our district win, but yeah, that's where I graduated.
So were you guys were good?
We were, I don't like to say we were super good, but we were really good. We just had a really solid team, a lot of good chemistry. We were all really close friends, and we all trusted each other. So yeah, it was a good year. It was a good year.
It was a good time, and then that transition into collegiate softball.
Yes.
What was that like?
So the recruiting process, I hated. It was
hated.
It was so stressful. You're talking to all of these different coaches, trying to figure out what coaching style fits best for you, because you are making a commitment. But you're also factoring your academics and what your degree is going to be in. You're also kind of taking a look at your finances, kind of how much a school is cost per semester, or how much your scholarship is getting. So there's a lot to factor in, and you're making all these decisions, and you're trying to take your SATs. So it's kind of a lot. It was really stressful. But I ended up committing to Cleary University in Howell, Michigan, where I played NAIA for 4 years in the WAC conference. And that's kind of how I got to college.
You said Cleary.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a university a lot of people have heard of.
Yes.
So being NAIA, I mean, what was that process like versus, maybe comparable to maybe a D3?
Yeah, so it is very comparable to D3. There are some distinctive differences between the two. Academia, there are a big difference in that. Also scholarships. It's my understanding that D3 can't offer the same amount of scholarships that NAIA can. Talent level, though, they are very comparable. We often played D3 schools in our preseason and just inter-squad scrimmages and stuff like that. So very different in that sort of way, but comparable in others.
Right. And so ended up going to Cleary University out there in what some may describe as kind of middle of nowhere.
It is.
I mean, what was the closest, I mean, was there a store in town?
Yeah, Walmart was in our backyard. You could walk from the dorms to Walmart, which is nice.
See, that's something.
Yes, it is something. We were also close to East Lansing, so we'd go to Michigan State on the weekends. So a lot of our friends went to Michigan State. Brighton was the closest city, so we'd go to Brighton a lot, kind of on our free time.
Right.
But yeah, Cleary, she's getting out there now. She's getting found.
Getting some highlights on
Yes,
her, right?
yes, she is.
So then Cleary University, right? You spent 4 years there, and
Mhm.
then did you look into playing college, or not college, look into playing softball after that, or was your senior year, was that it?
Yeah, so unfortunately for softball, there aren't many opportunities post-college. So I knew the extent that my softball career would take me to post-college would be beer league, adult league, and that's where I've landed. So I'm playing adult leagues, which is actually a blast. I love it. Very different though, but so much fun. And then I'm also still coaching too, so I'm very, very active still in the sport, and younger girls in the travel organizations and all of that.
Yeah, so you mentioned coaching, and was that something that you always thought, I'm going to be a coach? Like that was from day one, it was like, because some athletes we brought on the show, they're like, I played the sport to be a coach. Was that your thought process, or was it different?
No, mine was a little different. I knew I wanted to coach, but I kind of had specifications in where I wanted to coach. I only wanted to coach the older girls. The 8-year-olds were up to someone else as far as I was concerned. I wanted to coach a high school team, someone with talent who had an understanding of the sport already. That's not where I'm at now. I am an individual pitching instructor for girls ages 7 to 16. And I've seen about over 50 girls in the year and a half. So right after I graduated and wrapped up softball for college, I did not want to go right into coaching. I wanted to break. I was softballed out, but I actually ended up getting right back into it in a couple weeks. At the time, I had the free time for it, and it was kind of a skill that I had to offer. So that's kind of took it and ran with it, and here we are.
So do you, in your private lesson experience, is it just hitting? Is it pitching? Is it about both?
Yes, so I have done both. It is primarily pitching for a bit availability's sake. So I mostly do pitching, work with them. I also trust myself a bit more. In college, I did not hit as a hitter, as a PO, which wasn't fun for me. But I feel more inclined and more confident in my abilities to coach about pitching instead of both.
Right, and so you pitcher only. You kind of mentioned it a little bit there, not being thrilled about not getting to swing the bat a whole lot. Did you ever ask coach, like, hey, can I get a single at bat?
Every year I ask my coach. I loved hitting, which I know is not always common. Some girls are just, I want nothing to do with it. I loved hitting personally. I loved the challenge. I thought, being a pitcher, I thought I had kind of an advantage to hitting against them, knowing kind of their mindset and what pitches are going to look like, where the location is. I did actually get an at bat my junior or senior year of college, and I hit a double, missed the fence by a couple inches, and that was kind of like my "I told you so" kind of moment.
Should have put me in the lineup more, coach. Come on now.
Exactly. So, but not many opportunities. I think overall I accumulated 3 at bats during my college career.
All 3 hits?
No.
No, only the one?
No, only one hit, but it was a memorable one.
Hey, that's all that matters. Was
Yes.
it the last one?
It was, yeah.
Okay, so you ended on a good note there.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, so softball kind of talked about it a little bit. Very different from baseball, even though they're kind of compared to be the same sport a lot. I mean, do you ever get tired of that comparison?
I used to. No, I don't. I think I have a little bit of a different understanding. As a coach now, I'm also a huge baseball fan, so I love the sport myself. But I think a lot of people are kind of opening up their eyes a little bit to how much more difficult softball is than baseball.
Oh, man, shots fired. Okay.
I think people are starting to learn a bit more how challenging it is, but also respecting both games.
Right.
I think the rivalry is kind of dying down a little bit, which is appreciated.
And it's better for both sports, right?
Yes,
You
yeah.
get more people involved in both. And
Absolutely.
I mean, personally, you guys know, baseball player, played catcher for many years. So I would have been on the receiving end. I've never caught a softball. I've never had the privilege of watching a softball pitcher throw at me. I mean, what speed did you max out at?
So I maxed out at 63. My freshman year, I tore my labrum in my shoulder. So I was kind of sidelined for a while and was unfortunately never able to get back up to that speed. But I would say I was averaging high 50s, low 60s.
And what's the average roughly?
Also depends on what level you're at. So that is pretty standard, I would say, for your Division threes, your JUCO schools, your NAIA. Of course, you're going to have those unicorns that are throwing way more than that. And you might have some that are throwing less than that. But then as you get up to D1 and D2, I would say they're averaging upper 60s consistently, and anyway from mid to high 60s in D2 as well.
Yeah, so 60s underhand versus, I mean, is it difficult to throw a softball overhand? I mean, I imagine it's not because you're doing it all the time, infield, outfield, and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was difficult to throw overhand. Underhand, it takes a lot on your body, and I wish that it received more credit than it does, because my body was torn up my entire life, I think. So when I woke up for that first time after being done with college softball, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I was reborn again.
I feel like $1 million.
Exactly, yeah.
Because softball, it's so much more of, and baseball, you know, the pitcher is very involved in the pitching motion, and there's a specific way everybody does their stuff. But softball, you watch those girls out there, and it's just like they're like flinging their whole body towards the home plate. I mean, is that something that's taught?
Yeah.
Do softball pitchers have like their own windup?
Yeah, so windups are a little bit more preference based. Windups can be whatever the girl prefers them to be. I coach I think it's a traditional approach to windups and things like that. But yeah, they can look all sorts of different ways. I'm seeing a lot more now kind of evolve in college, which is always fun to see the different techniques and approaches that girls are taking. Carlin Pickens, who's playing at the University of Toledo, is throwing 78 miles per hour, which is unheard of. So it's always really fun. Yeah, it's really fun to see what everyone else is accomplishing.
So softball crash course aside, getting back into, you know, your athletic career, what was it like realizing that, you know, your playing days were not only numbered but over?
I think I experienced so many different emotions in college. Of course, freshman year, I'm excited to be there. I'm excited for what kind of opportunities. That was my dream of playing college. So once I had made it, it really felt real and exciting. Towards my junior year and senior year, I started to fall out of love with the sport a little bit. It was very difficult to show up to practice every single day, sometimes twice a day. We didn't have a great team one year, so it's just discouraging to be putting in all that work for little results. And then also my senior year, I really started to realize like softball doesn't exist for me after college, and this is my career. This is what my studies have been going towards. So it was difficult to flip that switch from, okay, you're an athlete, we have to go win our postseason, but the next day you have to have a big girl job and kind of figure out your life. So it was very frustrating. I faced burnout a lot my senior year. I had senioritis, as some may say. So the actual day that came down to being my last day pitching and playing collegiate softball, it was emotional because I had worked so hard for 14 years and now it was just over. It happens quickly, and it was really crazy to experience, but I was ready for it to be done.
Would you say that you talked about burnout. Is that something that is common amongst several softball players and not just, other teammates you've had?
Yeah, absolutely. We had I think I had a few teammates who faced a lot of burnout for the same reasons. I was under the impression when I was recruiting that an NAIA school had less sport commitments than your D1 schools did. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me because of the NCAA rules and regulations. They had a lot more strict times of when they could practice, how much they could practice, when they had to take a dead end. In NAI, it's not like that. There are, of course, some rules and regulations, but it was pretty much practice as much as you want, whenever you want. So my coaches really took advantage of that. And it was a lot on your body, mentally. I was also living off campus in an apartment, working jobs, trying to afford said apartment. And it was difficult to kind of have that switch back and forth.
Yeah, talk about the work-life balance, right? This is almost, when you're an athlete, it's ramped up to 11.
Yes.
Because not only are you balancing school, but you're also balancing your life and athletics. Did you ever feel like there was a point in time where you were like, I wish I could just like push one of these away, whatever it was?
All the time. There were some times late in my career, junior, senior year, where I often wondered what my life would look like had I not played college softball. And to kind of dig myself out of that route, I reminded myself a lot of what younger Sonya felt. And I was cleaning out my room once and found some diaries from being like 9 years old and writing out that it was my dream to play college softball. So that kept me going, knowing that younger Sonya would be proud of older Sonya. And kind of finishing it out. I'm also not a quitter. So I refuse to quit and hang up the cleats, which unfortunately I saw a lot of too. In college, there are a lot of girls who do decide that they don't want to do it anymore. So yeah, a lot of external influences in that sort of way.
I mean, athletics is always a common recurring theme we ask on the show. It's all about former athletes, right? And everybody's got their own story. Everybody's got their own why for, why they walked away and how they felt about it. For you personally, why do you think that almost every athlete we've had on the show has said, I'm okay with it?
Oh, I don't regret it for a second, finishing it out. I talk about all the time how the adversity that I faced in college softball has really shaped me and how I'm able to handle professional experiences and real life experiences. Also, my best friends played college softball with me and I still see them all the time to this day. So I do not regret it one bit, finishing it out. I think I would have regretted it more had I quit.
If you could go back and like tell younger Sonya something, is there anything you would tell her, or you say stay the course?
Oh, I would tell sorry. I would tell younger Sonya that it is not a walk in the park, and to really listen to the coaches and the mentors that I had, because they were right. So sorry.
You're all good.
But yeah, I would tell younger Sonya to also trust yourself, trust your gut. The biggest thing is there's more to life after your sport.
So what exactly are you planning to do post-college?
Yeah, so I graduated with a BBA, with a concentration of sports promotion and management. I have since been figuring out my journey. I know you from the Mud Hens, which is where I was an intern at with the youth sports department there, which was amazing. I just continued my passion with the youth and sports, and apparently I didn't spend enough time with 12-year-olds in my free time, so I had to do it professionally. That has ended in September, so now I am kind of on this journey. I feel like the world is my oyster. There's so much that I can figure out now and go back and do if I wanted to when I didn't have the time playing as a college athlete. Although I'm still committed to my passion in sports and community relations and finding a career professionally in that.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun area to work in, right? During your time with the Mud Hens, which is how we know each other. What were some of the favorite events you worked? Things you did during your time there?
So many. One that specifically comes to mind is my experience with the Field of Dreams camp, which was our special needs clinics. in camps, our baseball camp that we held at this stadium. So we reach out to Special Olympics, the Ability Center, all of our special needs kind of groups in the local Toledo area. And we really put on a show for them. We had a blast with them. We used the scoreboard, let them hit at home plate, run the bases. So it was just a really fun experience for them, and being able to offer them that might be something they've never been able to experience before. My other baby of the Mud Hens is my kids club program. I loved the kids club program. There was so much creative freedom to be able to do whatever you wanted. Of course, with limitations.
Right.
But it was really fun to incorporate some of the sports things. You know, when 8-year-olds are coming to the ballpark, sometimes they don't care about baseball. So it was fun to be able to implement baseball in other ways that they might not have understood just watching the game.
Right. And so, you know, now, you know, like you said, the world's your oyster.
Mm-hmm.
You could go and do anything. Is there kind of like a, you know, what's the goal?
Yeah, end goal. Right now, if I'm looking at a dream, it is to work community relations at a professional sports team. Selfishly, I love baseball, so I'd love to work with a baseball team, but also the NFL just has so many opportunities with their social justice programs and doing things out in the community. So I think the NFL also has a large platform for what I want to do.
Do you have any advice, like specific advice you'd give to current athletes out there right now that are going through maybe some of the same things you did?
Absolutely. The biggest thing I would tell the younger athletes is there's more to life than your sport. You are worth a lot more than your sport and your performance. That is something that I think has just been a standard where people ignore that. They ignore who you are as a person and kind of what you want to achieve outside of your sport. And I wish there was a little bit more emphasis on that with coaches and those mentors. Yes, you're there to help them grow athletically and in specific areas of their sport. But I think it's really important to recognize them as a person too, and oftentimes a child who just kind of wants that good mentor and kind of help them in all areas of their life. So I would go back and tell myself and others that yes, this is fun and we love it. We love being able to compete and push our bodies in ways that we didn't think we could. But there's also a lot more. Like I graduated college at 22. My softball career ended at 22, collegiately. And I still have so much more life to live that doesn't have to do with softball.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. Connect with me on LinkedIn.
There.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell the camera, you know.
Yeah. It is Sonya Terleckyji, SonyaTerleckyj.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
This was a blast.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
All right, New Path Podcast fans, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining. Next time, surprise guest. You're going to have to wait and see who it is. Until then, Sonya, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll see you next time.